Hey everyone, I've been on a quest to assemble the lightest and most functional set of pocketable tools on the planet. Weight matters more than anything when carrying stuff in your pockets, so each tool needs to earn every ounce. In my everyday carry, I want to have a pocket knife, adjustable pliers, screwdriver with some extra bits, 1/4-inch ratchet, scissors, tweezers, ballpoint pen, and flashlight. But it's got to be seriously lightweight. How light? Well, I set an ambitious goal to pack all that functionality into a package that's no heavier than the Leatherman Skeletool. That's already a super minimal multi-tool that only has 4 features: knife, pliers, bit driver, and bottle opener. So my budget is a featherweight 5¼ ounces and $125 for everything in this pocket toolkit. In this video, I'll show you the best ultralight tools I found after many months of research, then pack them super efficiently into a few pocket-friendly toolkits that won't weigh you down. Let's dive in with the knife that started me on this quest. After a bunch of research, I picked up the Victorinox Bantam Alox because it has the largest blade for its weight. For a featherweight 1 ounce, you get a 2.5-inch drop point blade in a rugged 84mm frame. Best of all, it only costs $26. I love its super minimal design that is just enough tool to get a lot of jobs done. It's razor thin but still surprisingly strong because of the textured Alox scales. The blade isn't one of those skinny little things you see in smaller Swiss Army knives. The blade is almost the same size as the larger 91mm Army Hiker, but packaged in a tool that's a tiny fraction of the bulk. It's big enough to break down a cardboard box, cut string and paracord, or slice up an apple. It's a single layer knife, so it only has one other tool on board, but it packs a ton of functionality. It's called the Combo Tool, and it has a flathead screwdriver with a unique design that even works for Phillips head screws in a pinch. There's a combination bottle cap lifter and can opener that works way better than I ever expected. Lastly, there's a notch for stripping wires that works up to 12 gauge. I use this thing constantly to tighten screws, scrape and pry, and open bottles. I just love how this knife feels, and it's made me finally understand what makes Victorinox so special. Sure, it's not a burly survivalist knife, but it's perfect for urban EDC and completely disappears in your pocket. You can even tuck it into your wallet. It's that thin. My new goal was to find other tools that were just as light, affordable, and durable as the Bantam. I definitely wanted to carry a good set of pliers, and the Knipex Cobra Mini pliers are the obvious choice. Everyone loves these because they can do the detailed work of needle nose pliers, bend and pull like a champ, grip onto any shaped object, and open large bolts with a surprising amount of torque. They're only 4 inches long and 2 ounces, which is double the Bantam, but they're 100% worth the wait if you need them. If not, I have an alternate idea for lighter pliers later in the video. With the Combo Tool on the Bantam, I have flathead screws covered, but I wanted to carry some sort of multi-bit screwdriver, ideally with a ratchet because I'm constantly working with bolts and screws. I already had this micro ratchet in my Surge kit, and it's feather light at 0.8 of an ounce. The only issue is this can't be used vertically as a regular screwdriver, so I went on the hunt to find one that had a 1/4-inch bit holder in the end. I eventually found this Toppeak Rocket Light DX toolkit, and it's perfect. It has the same ratchet head, but adds a 1/4-inch bit holder on the other end, so I can drop in a bit and use it like a standard screwdriver. Unlike a multi-tool, its cylindrical shape works way better in screwdriver mode because it's not awkwardly offset as you rotate it. I mean, look at this. It also accepts normal 1/4-inch bits, no need for the bit extension like you'd need in a Leatherman. The wider ratchet head gives you a little extra grip when tightening down screws too. The ratchet has a tiny flip switch to change direction. The 3.5-inch handle gives lots of torque, and the ratchet mechanism makes it a breeze to work efficiently with longer screws. Best of all, it weighs just 1 ounce. Now I had to buy this whole kit to get the ratchet, but it only set me back $32, which includes a set of bits, bike tools, and a nice Velcro case, so it's a good value. I'll toss my old ratchet in and use it on my bike. If you just want the tool alone, I recently found this Presticycle Pro that has the exact same ratchet, but adds a bar that can give you more leverage as a T-handle or more reach as an extension. Let me know in the comments if you found a cheaper ratchet like this. In the bit holder end, I keep a standard number 1 Phillips bit preloaded, so I can just pull this out of my pocket and get to work. This size is a good happy medium for smaller screws on electronics, but works fine on number 2 fasteners as well. I cut the bit down with a grinder to save a few grams and make it a little bit shorter, but it still locks in perfectly. Maybe a little too much. I deal with hex and Torx fasteners a lot, so having more bits would be useful, but carrying a bunch of 1/4-inch bits is really bulky. That's where the Leatherman bit kit comes in. The double-sided 2D bits are half the weight and way more compact than a standard 1/4-inch bit. You just can't beat their size to weight ratio. Like the Viha double-ended bits, they're too long to lock into the bit holder, so they only work in the ratchet, but that's okay. Hex fasteners are my top priority since I run into them all the time on furniture, photo gear, and bike fittings. I chose 3 double-sided metric bits that cover 6 sizes: 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 4, and 5 millimeters. This saves me a ton of trips back to my tool bag to get my Allen wrenches. I found that I could pack 3 bits into a small section of drinking straw for a tidy package that holds tight but is just slick enough for them to slide out easily. I wrap the straw in a piece of shrink wrap for extra reinforcement, no heating required. I made another bit bundle that has Torx bits in sizes 6, 8, 10, and 15. The last bit has a precision Phillips that works on eyeglasses and a number 3 Phillips for larger screws. These tiny bundles can drop into a coin pocket or even my wallet. These bundles only weigh 1/3 of an ounce, which is featherweight for the utility that they pack in. These bundles ended up being the solution to another problem I had. On the Cobra pliers, there's a ton of wasted space between the handles. I found that if you slide the pivot back just a little bit, it moves the handles a little bit closer. But I need to optimize every square inch, so this will not stand. I eventually realized that a bit bundle would fit perfectly in this space, but I needed a way to keep them in position. I realized I could take a bit bundle and then gaffer's tape it to another piece of shrink wrap and slide it onto the handle. The friction fit keeps it in place, but it's super easy to slide off. This gets rid of the dead space and makes the bits way easier to access. But now we're only an ounce away from our limit. Time to get ultralight. I wanted to carry scissors for cutting paper, string, and zip ties. Now I don't need scissors that much, so I wasn't willing to carry a lot of weight for them. So I went ahead and bought a few folding scissors to see if they would work. These slip and snip scissors are quite nice. They're smooth to open and cut cleanly, but are fairly large when folded, weigh a full ounce, and cost $13. I had high hopes for these Fisker scissors because they fold up quite a bit smaller, are only half an ounce, and cost $5, but they felt gritty and stiff like they didn't quite align. Neither are something I'd want in my pocket every day because they're a bit awkward. What I really wanted was the famously good Victorinox scissors, but in a standalone tool. Eventually, I found my answer in the Victorinox Swiss card. I had completely ignored this because it looked like a goofy toy. And let's be honest, it kind of is. But it has a pair of scissors that are the exact same ones from their larger multi-tools, but with an extra finger grip tacked on so you can hold them in your hand. Best of all, they only weigh 1/4 of an ounce and cost $9 as a replacement part. They were unfortunately out of stock, so I bought the whole Swiss card. These cut through paper, string, paracord, and even pretty beefy zip ties, no problem. Having the scissors as a standalone tool is way nicer than them being attached to a chunky multi-tool. The only question is how to carry these in my pocket since they're quite stabby. As you might have guessed, I ended up stuffing them into a piece of shrink wrap. It's perfect because the spring and the scissors push them against the walls so they stay in tight until you squeeze them a bit and they slide right out. There's enough space for me to slip in the tweezers from the Swiss card too. You can pick the tweezers up for only $4 as a replacement part, and they're pretty clutch for removing splinters and ticks. I ended up cutting the shrink wrap a bit longer than I needed so I could slide an extra 1/4-inch bit into the bottom and have 2 full-size bits I can use in the driver handle. All of these tools with the holder are only half an ounce and cost $13, which is just about right for their utility. Next up is a flashlight. I actually use the flashlight feature of my Apple Watch when stumbling around at night, and it works surprisingly well. The flashlight on my iPhone 14 Pro is also great because it has a very bright, even light pattern with a pleasing color temperature, but it doesn't have any directional throw for distance. It's more like a lantern. Since I already have 2 light sources, I don't want to carry anything too big or heavy because I can pretty much get by with what I already have. I ended up picking up the Olight i1R2 EOS because it's less than half an ounce and cost $18. I like that it's rechargeable with USB, so I don't have to keep buying button batteries. Yes, I know there's a USB-C version, it's just too big. It has 2 light levels, accessed with a simple twist. On low, it's a 5 lumen beam, which is dimmer than my phone, but lasts for 6 hours. On bright, it puts out 150 lumens and really throws light down a hall or path, but only lasts for 15 minutes. To make this easier to grab and hold, I loop this small zipper pull through the lanyard hole that makes it much easier to pull out of my pocket and hold. In fact, I bought a whole bag of these pulls and they're super handy to have. Overall, I've been enjoying having a flashlight for cases where I don't want to risk my iPhone or run its battery down. Alright, we're almost at our weight limit, but I also wanted to carry a small pen for marking measurements and scribbling out quick notes. Most of the EDC pens I saw videos for were heavy and super expensive, like $50 to $100 expensive. I was hoping the one from the Swisscard would be useful, but it is way too small to use. It's miserable to write with this thing. Just don't bother. I then found this micro ballpoint pen that is incredible. It only costs $8 and is made in Japan. The quality is great and it's so tiny. It's pretty much the diameter of a pen refill at 0.2 inches or 5 millimeters and only weighs 3 grams, the same as a single BitKit bit. There's a tiny button at the end to slide the pen open and a lever to snap it back closed on the side. It's made of aluminum and is surprisingly comfortable to use, even though it's only 3.6 inches long. Best of all, it has a tiny metal clip that is great for keeping it in place. The entire toolkit weighs 5¼ ounces and costs $120, which is just at our goal of weight and price. That's right, we did the impossible. For the price of a Wave Plus and the weight of a Skeletool, I have a knife, pliers, ratchet with 14 bits, scissors, pen, tweezers, and flashlight. Now that I had all the tools sorted, I needed to figure out how to carry them efficiently. If I just dumped these into my pocket, it would be a lumpy, jangly mess. Eventually, I had the idea to shuffle things around in my wallet to dedicate space to hold my tools. I had this Bellroy card sleeve for many years, but they don't make it anymore, so I bought their new card sleeve in Obsidian. It has 2 outer pockets and a deep vertical pocket inside that's perfect for tools. It's high quality leather, so it costs $50, but it's very light at only 23 grams. I played around for a while to find the best configuration and found that I could fit the Cobras with the bit pack, ratchet, scissors with tweezers, and pen in the inner vertical pocket. Packing them together in the wallet means there's no jangling and it feels much thinner than any multi-tool. On the outside, I carry my license, credit card, ATM card, and 2 insurance cards. On the other side, I have a few bills folded up. For keys, I'm a hardcore minimalist because each key weighs about 1/3 ounce, so 3 of these is equal to the Bantam. If you want to lighten your pockets, check your keys and ditch the tchotchkes. I work from home, so I need just a single house key. I carried it on this metal loop for a decade, but instead I looped a zipper pull through and now it's even lighter and quieter. My key slides into the pouch with my cash, so it's easy to grab. The Bantam didn't fit with the other tools, so I just let this float around in my pocket. I like how easy it is to grab during the day since it's by far the most used tool I carry. The best thing is this balances the weight between my pockets and is super low profile, so it carries very nicely. In my right pocket, my iPhone 14 Pro with case weighs 8.3 ounces. My left pocket has my wallet toolkit, Bantam, and lip balm, which weighs 7.4 ounces. I pop the flashlight and extra bit bundle into my coin pocket for easy access. Together these are 0.8 ounces. You can shave $20 and ½ an ounce if you don't need pliers as robust as the Cobra Mini by swapping those for the Leatherman Style PS. The Style PS is an interesting beast because it has a great set of pliers with wire cutter, a nice pair of scissors, file, tweezers, bottle cap lifter, and carabiner in a super thin and small multi-tool that costs $35. It's basically a subset of the Squirt PS4 tools, but styled to look like a mini Skeletool. The pliers and scissors are pretty much identical to the Squirt PS4, but the bigger handle give you much more grip. The style is only 1.6 ounces and replaces the 2.4 ounce needed for the Cobra, Victorinox scissors, and tweezer combo. Since it's so compact, you can slide both bit bundles to the bottom of the wallet and then place the Style and Bantam on top. For an even cheaper alternative to the Bellroy, this modern carry card wallet is pretty great for just $12. It has stretchy pockets on both sides and a rigid center. It weighs half as much as the Bellroy at only 0.4 ounces. You can fit 4 to 5 cards plus cash on one side and all 4 tools on the other side. This is a super tight package that I really enjoy carrying. My guess is the stretchy panels will fall apart pretty quickly though. I carried this for a few weeks and it surprisingly has held up great, but I expect you'd need to buy a new one every year or so. Now, in case you're curious, I tried a few other wallets that just didn't pan out. This Chubbs wallet is inexpensive, but didn't have good structure and was hard to get stuff in and out of. This Alpaca Zip card holder had a lot of promise because it had a few deep slide-in pockets on the outside designed to hold a knife or pliers, as well as a nice zippered inner pocket. However, this thing is enormous for a card holder. Just look at how it compares to the other card wallets. It's way too bulky. Alright, one last thing. I've been debating if I should include other knives in this video because the options are truly endless. I did try a few pocket knives that were just a bit heavier than the Bantam that are worth considering if you're interested in a locking blade. Now, I couldn't afford the Benchmade Bug Out, but picked up this CRKT CEO compact knife that's $44. It's only 1.6 ounces and has a high quality 3.1 inch blade with liner lock. Unfortunately, the finish on it scraped off like crazy. This is how bad it looked after just 2 weeks in my pocket. I then picked up the Civivi Lumi for $50. It has a smaller 2.6 inch blade and weighs a full 2 ounces. The design by Justin Lundquist is the perfect urban EDC knife, although the top flipper is tricky to open one-handed. The question for me is whether spending twice as much money and carrying double the weight is worth it compared to the Bantam, especially because you lose the combo tool. Sure, a beefier locking blade is better, but I think both would cut the same things about as well, so I'm not getting that much more utility. Everyone has different needs, so you do you. So there it is, my perfect, super functional pocket EDC in a couple different configurations. It might not be right for you, but I'm really happy with how dialed in this is for my needs. I alternate between the Cobra and Style PS setups based on what I'm doing. Both are equally comfortable, but the Style PS is just a bit nicer to carry. In the summer when I'm wearing shorts, I may go with the Modern Carry Stretchy Wallet toolkit instead. For the size, weight, utility, and cost, I think this Pocket EDC is much better than any multi-tool out there. It's not full of gimmicky tools and focuses on high-quality versions of the things I use every day. Let me know in the comments how I can make this even better and what works best for your daily carry. If you like watching videos about hyper-optimized toolkits, check out my Leatherman Surge Kit and my new Vito hand tool kit. I hope you found something interesting in this video. I certainly had a lot of fun putting this together. Be sure to subscribe if you like this kind of stuff because I have more in the works. Alright, thanks for watching everyone. Till next time.